February, right? Welcome to the February meeting of the Historic Conservation Commission. I'm Gary Lader, Chair of the HCC, and I would like to introduce the commission. To my left is Jeff Long, our Historic Officer, Registered Architect. I'll go around the room. Then we have Desiree Strasser, resident of the Mount Airy District. To my far right is Craig Evans, resident of the district, and to my immediate right is Mike Simonson, Chief Building Inspector. I'll read about the ordinance information. It is the purpose and intent of the City of Bethlehem to promote, enhance, and preserve historic resources and traditional community character for the education, cultural, economic, and general welfare of the public through the preservation, protection, and regulation of buildings in areas of historic interest or importance within the city, which have been determined to be of local, state, or national significance. The way the meeting will unfold is the applicants will be taken in order. After identifying the project address and the presenters, our historic officer will provide a background on the building and any recommendations. At that time, the applicant will present their project and plan. The board will then address the project, allow public comment, if any, and ultimately create a motion to approve as presented, approve with modifications, table the project with clear recommendations, or deny the project with reasons for the denial and changes or improvements which will result in a positive recommendation. For public comment, if there is any tonight, there is a 3-minute time limit, and comments must be specific to attributes of the building only. Speakers are to announce themselves with their name and address before speaking. The HCC is a recommending board, and the results of our meeting will be presented to the City Council, and their vote will be binding. Please do not forget to secure your permit from the permit office on the first floor of City Hall before you begin your project. Above all, I remind everyone to conduct themselves in a civil manner and always use a civil tone. The commission is here to help you with your project. We are a group of volunteers who are dedicated to historic preservation and restoration of older buildings in Bethlehem and beyond. If any commission members have a conflict of interest with any of the applications on tonight's agenda, please come forth at this time. And I don't think so. Okay. It's okay. I think I see the sign up list up front. So if you haven't signed in yet, please do so. With that, we'll go to our first agenda item, which is for 306 South New Street. And will the applicants please identify themselves? Yeah, thank you.
How you guys doing? My name is Constantine Zanakis. I'm the one who's doing this whole new restaurant over there.
Did you say Todd?
What?
Constantine.
Constantine, I'm sorry. Okay, Constantine, thank you.
Sorry, my earrings messed up.
If you could, when you sign, if you could print your name, please, just so, because I need to capture that for the minutes. So no signatures, but printed name. Thank you.
I'm Kevin White from Fast Signs in Allentown.
I think I remember seeing you here
Yeah,
before,
I've been
right?
here a couple times.
Okay.
Okay, 306 South New Street. The building description, period, style, and defining features. Construction of this semi-detached 6-story commercial building located on the corner of South New Street and West 3rd Street was initiated in 2016 and is contemporary in style. Primary facades on both streets include glass and aluminum storefronts at the street level. They're clad in brick on the 2nd through 4th floors, while the uppermost floor levels and the corner are clad in glass and metal panels. The facade of the 6th floor is set back and has a thin projecting roof, creating an open-air terrace along the north and east facades. As a reminder, the HCC is mandated with preserving structures dating from the designated era of the Historic Conservation District, which is approximately 1895 to 1950. Thus, this building is not considered significant to the district. Proposed alterations: the applicant proposes to install a new illuminated wall sign and to add a business logo and operational hours to the entrance door. There are no Secretary of Interior standards for my guideline citations because this is a non-contributing building. My guideline citations I used to reference from my assessment include the Bethlehem Ordinance that Mr. Lader read at the beginning of tonight's meeting, as well as the Historic Conservation Commission guidelines for signage. This is not a historic building, but still care should be taken in mounting the signs to minimize any damage to other materials. If reusing hardware or brackets from previous signs, that's preferable. And the design guidelines continue on page 3, and I quote, "The HCC will not recommend for approval aluminum sign boxes with internal lights and translucent sign faces," end quote. My evaluation, the effect on the district and recommendations. The certificate of appropriateness application indicates the intent to install new signage onto the existing sign band and also onto the glazed entrance door for a new commercial tenant. A scale drawing of the proposed signage with an elevation view of the front facade, which is indicated as required on the application, is not included, so the application is incomplete. The provided graphics indicate the existing signage at the sign band would be centered above the recess entrance to replace, the existing signage will be replaced with internally illuminated sign cabinet fabricated from 0.125-inch routed aluminum face with half-inch thick white acrylic push-through letters. Only the letters will be illuminated. The angle aluminum frame to be installed using masonry bolts into the existing sign band includes a hinge at the top for servicing. The proposed white LED lighting on the inside surface of the cabinet is 6,500 Kelvin color temperature. The letters in bright white color spell out Barbecue Boys in large, bold, all uppercase serif lettering in the so-called college font. The half-inch thick off-stripe pinstripe detail in bright white color serves as a border around the sign. It bleeds off the page, so about the dimensions, the sign measures 28 inches high by 144 inches wide. It was wrong on the agenda. It caught the lettering height. But I went back to the previous signage. This repeats the sign of the existing. So it's 144 wide by 28 tall.
And the letters then are.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. The thickness of the sign cabinet is 4 inches. The installation of modern lettering on a contemporary style structure is considered appropriate according to the guidelines. The proposed offset pinstripe detail as a border around the sign is also appropriate. The HCC traditionally encourages the use of warm white or ivory instead of bright white color, so discussion is warranted. One notation on the provided supplemental drawing indicates the body and the face of the new sign is to be painted bronze, while another notation indicates cool gray as the proposed color. So I have two different colors, so clarification is warranted. Admittedly, HCC doesn't determine color, but I always like to have the defined color in the certificate. Installing new signage that matches the dimensions of the existing sign is also considered appropriate based on the guidelines. The applicant should strive to use the existing mounting locations for the replacement sign to avoid unnecessary damage to the sign band. The sign band is metal, so anytime someone adds a sign to this specific sign band, it's going to create more and more holes unless they can, match the existing ones. According to relevant design guidelines for signage, aluminum sign boxes with internal illumination and translucent sign faces are inappropriate for the district. The applicant should consider a flat sign on a rigid backer with no internal illumination, similar to the existing sign, as an appropriate alternative. Should the HCC determine the proposed sign box is appropriate, after discussing with the applicant, internal LED illumination should be limited to maximum 3,000 Kelvin color temperature in satisfaction of design guidelines to use low wattage warm light bulbs. So we have a situation where your guidelines say no illuminated boxes, but it's being placed on a non-historic structure. So in my opinion, you theoretically have something to discuss.
Right.
If you decide to bend the rules, so to speak, and allow the sign box, any future applicants, we're going to have to be very careful and say, this was specific to a non-historic structure.
Right.
That's your justification. And if you allow illumination, your guidelines also say illumination has to be warm light bulbs The guidelines predate LEDs, so traditionally, HEC has determined maximum 3000 K as warm illumination.
Okay.
So that's the one sign. We have the sign box that they're proposing. Provided graphics indicate another proposed sign that measures approximately 14 inches tall by 22 inches wide, fabricated from vinyl in a bright white color, to be installed on the left glazed entrance door. Now, the graphics show in the left, but the description says doors. So I wasn't sure if it's intended for both, but the applicant can describe that a little bit later. So right now I'm just going by the graphic, which shows it in the left, from the outside the left entrance door. The top text line includes letters that spell out Barbecue Boys in large, bold, all uppercase serif lettering in the so-called college font. Centered within the second text line are large, all uppercase sans serif letters that spell out hours, Hours, while the remaining 3 text lines include hours of operation in sans serif lettering. I'm intentionally not reading those specific hours because over time you might want to modify those hours depending on your business. And I don't want to capture those in the certificate and then you have to come back just to change your hours of operation. So just saying 3 text lines of hours of operation should be sufficient for our purposes. The proposed signage is appropriate pending clarification of the following details. I need the height and width dimensions of the glazed door panel to confirm it fits. You didn't give me a scale drawing, so we just need to make sure it fits. And again, that's for the certificate. Indicate the critical dimensions of the new sign. For example, the top of the new sign is down how many inches from the top of the door, or how far is it from the bottom? Right now, I have a graphic and I have a photograph, but I don't, have anything to help me understand. Is it centered? Is it, all this kind of things. And also confirm that the signage will be installed on the inside glass surface. So that was the second signage, which is on the door. The applicant might also want to consider a pinstripe detail around the Barbecue Boys logo that would repeat what you have in the sign above. It'll also kind of help frame it. Otherwise, it might get a little lost, on the door. Help set it off a little bit. That's not required, but it was just a recommendation. So with that, I'm concluded my assessment.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. All right, maybe we should address the internally lit box sign issue first. Oftentimes we'll have people submit this kind of signage. If you want looking for some kind of lighting as backlit LEDs, it gives it a nice halo. I'm wondering if you consider something like that just to be more in keeping with the rest of the district.
Actually, real quick, can we start with the door, make that real easy?
Sure.
We'll take care of we'll mount that on the inside.
Okay.
So that's taken care of, and Jeff, I'll definitely get you the measurements for scaling on the door, so you know placement of that.
Okay.
So I think and it will be white, so.
Are you gonna add the pinstripe around the Barbecue Boys? It's really preference. We just need to capture it.
It's up to you.
Basically, it's gonna more or less look like a sign.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll have the pinstripe.
Okay. And just for clarification, Barbecue Boys in that college type lettering, that is your logo?
Yeah, that's the.
You don't have
logo
to-
font.
That's the logo we're using for this. Our normal logo is like bright orange, red, and has like flames and everything, which we're not using.
Okay, but you're not, the reason I asked that is because you said your logo on the door. So for our purposes, Barbecue Boys is your logo.
Correct.
There's no
Yeah,
picture.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
One of the things, Gary, that struck me with it is in terms of the internally illuminated signs.
Mhm.
We're referencing in the past when they were translucent panels with some painted lettering on them, and it was
Mhm.
the lighted box. It's a little different in that, yes, it's internally illuminated, but it's only the lettering that is going to come through. It's not the whole face of the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see your
Yeah,
example there.
I was sitting in front of the sample, sorry. So basically, first of all, color-wise, our plan is to match that facade color, which is like a light gray, darkerish gray. It's like a cool gray, between a cool gray 11 and 10. So we'll be matching that facade color. It's not that Darnautic bronze.
Oh, okay.
So we could say this PMS Cool Gray 11.
Cool gray 11, yes. And then, so we made this a couple of years ago, a couple different sign types. So this is not a non-illuminated flat cut letter. This is what the pinstripe will be around, the border, non-illuminated
Okay.
because of fabrication reasons. The bottom here, just real quick. This is routed and backed up. And then this is the routed and push through that we're proposing. So the background will be that gray color, which is as close to that facade color as possible. And then only the Barbecue Boys text will light.
Okay.
So, and sorry to say this, but like I said, we made this like 7 or 8 years ago, which is technically the lifespan of LEDs. They were at one time white, but you can see the degradation. They are probably close to 4,045 right now, just to give you a white
Okay.
point. So 3,000 actually is like yellow.
Okay.
We can amend that to at least be like about 5,000, but 3,000 is maybe a little more yellow than that.
Okay.
Just to give you guys an idea of what that color point is, that's actually in the guidelines. But and another point that we come across with historic commissions is the fact that they don't, and I think what the guidelines are trying to steer away from is just that pull out a face and slide a new one in. This is anything but. This is actually, you need a new sign to change faces.
It's a different character
Correct.
from that. And that's what we were referencing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why- That's why it became an objective of the commission not to have that
Sure,
proliferate in the district.
correct.
So can you explain a little bit more what makes this different from something you just slide out and change?
So, just gonna pull this now. It's
The
easier.
letters are cut out and.
Yeah, we actually, instead of a box that you're
Uh-huh.
literally sliding a piece of plastic out and sliding a new one in,
Oh,
this,
okay.
you can see a little better from the side.
yeah.
So this aluminum face is routed,
Okay.
and then there's, this acrylic is actually about 3/4 inches thick. We hog everything out and then push that through the routed out
Okay.
face.
It's altogether
This
different.
right here.
from-
So it's,
Okay.
yeah. So it's actually, you need a whole new cabinet or at least
Yeah.
a whole new frame system and face to be able to put a new tenant in there.
So is the Barbecue Boys, is that going to be in the same kind of acrylic lettering?
Yes, yes. So yeah, it'll be the white white
That's
acrylic,
raised.
and then the
Oh,
color,
okay.
the internally illuminated colors, how we can control that
Oh,
with the
okay.
LEDs that are inside here.
All right, now I understand it.
The thickness of the box is that,
It'll be about, I think this is 5 inches, or will be about 4 inches.
okay.
And that's what's technically needed to light correctly nowadays with
Okay,
LEDs.
well, my question was whether that had to be for temperature or, so that it didn't overheat or.
No, it's basically for the pinpointing of the LEDs, because they
Okay.
can only be so close to the plastic when you start seeing,
Individual.
individual LED hotspots.
So
And we
this
will- sorry.
would not typically be appropriate for some really small application. It only needs to be kind of a larger expanse.
Not necessarily. We
No.
do little 2x4s, for little bodega type places quite often in
Okay.
historic areas, downtown, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And we're gonna take up these, like you noted, it's going to be the exact same footprint as the existing. So no additional penetrations will be seen.
Okay.
Is the coloring of the lettering, what we see there, like that white fast is going to be the
Yeah,
same?
that's-
And then the border around is that white sample color?
Yes,
Okay, so there'll be like slightly different during the daylight, but not,
correct, yes. At night, again, you'll only be reading the Barbecue Boys.
Right.
And then at night,
Just
it'll be
below
just,
the-
So any more questions or comments on this?
I move that we recommend the certificate of appropriateness for the signage at 306 South New Street as submitted with the following additional aspects. That there'll be definition in dimensions for the door signage submitted to for the permit. And that the lighting will be less than 6,000 and probably a little bit more than 3,000.
Our typical that you see nowadays, or the typical signs that you see nowadays are about 6,500 Kelvin, which is a good solid white point, kind of like your shirt.
Right.
So we've gone to, what's the, can't picture anything here, Bethlehem, that we've done that. We've toned down to yellowish, but we've gone as low as 3,500 and it's really yellow.
Yes.
So maybe 4,500 to 5K would be sufficient.
We're in the midst of a motion. If we could get a second, then we can go to the discussion.
Thank you.
Formally, we're not really supposed to
Yes,
say anything.
thank you for clarifying that.
I just need a second.
But I'm not sure, did you complete your motion? 'Cause,
I think so.
okay, because I know usually we have in there, you know, the vinyl lettering,
Yeah.
got to be on the interior side. You know, the applicant indicates they're going to reuse the same brackets, same sign location. All the above, right? And I think we needed to pick up that you're going to match the, on the box itself, you're going to match the existing panel you're mounting to? Is that what you said?
Match the existing facade
Sign
color.
band.
Yeah, sign
Sign band, okay.
as close as possible.
All right. Any seconds on that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Let's put it to a vote. Craig Evans.
Aye.
Mike Simonson.
Aye.
I vote aye. And Desiree?
Aye.
Okay, so carries unanimous. And thank you for your efforts. And best wishes on your business there.
Yep.
That looks like a good one.
Did we mention the PMS Cool Gray 11?
Sign stuff.
I know it was mentioned, but I didn't.
Jared did.
He said to match the gray of
Okay.
the sign band.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Height,
Yeah. Like the location of the signage on the door.
Okay, yeah, like Jeff was saying,
Right.
kind of like something like that with all those.
You can save a couple of steps.
If you could get those dimensions to Mike as soon as possible,
Yeah,
because
we'll
I
do.
really want to
Push it
get
in.
the certificate out, just because of my own travel schedule.
that's right.
Otherwise, I don't want it to wait until I get back.
Cool, appreciate that.
Okay, sure.
Okay, are we ready for agenda item number 2? Is that you?
Thank you very much.
15 East 4th
Thank
Street?
you very much.
Okay, and tell me your name?
I'm Anthony Valdez.
Anthony, okay. Thank you for joining us.
And next. 15 East 4th Street. This structure is a 3-story, 3-bay, semi-detached masonry, commercial and residential building with a flat roof. Constructed circa 1880, the building was originally Italianate in style, as evidenced by the detailed upper cornice. However, many original defining features were lost when the exposed facades were treated with a stucco veneer and given an etched pattern often referred to as brick coat, an imitation cast stone in a medium gray color during the mid-20th century. A recessed entrance door with divided lights leads to the upper level residential units, while a glazed entrance door, a large shop window, and an awning associated with the entry-level business location are more recent renovations. Proposed alterations, the applicant proposes to replace the existing awning with a new awning cover and also to replace the existing window signage with a new logo. The guideline citations include the Secretary of Interior standards concerning new additions or exterior alterations. That will be number 9. The Bethlehem ordinance that Mr. Later read at the beginning of tonight's meeting. and the design guidelines for signage similar to the previous application. My evaluation, the effect on the district and recommendations. The certificate of appropriateness application indicates the intent to install a new cover on the existing awning and to install new signage in the shop window for a new commercial tenant. Actually, I think it's the same tenant, but a new concept, if I read correctly.
Can you repeat that?
I think you're the same people, you're just changing your restaurant
Same
concept.
tenant, just different restaurant concept? No, actually, this was used to be the original General Zapata's building.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we just acquired.
Oh, you did, okay.
Okay.
All right, thank
So
you.
it's a brand new concept, right?
Okay, so for a new commercial tenant.
Yes, sorry about that.
No, no problem. A scale drawing of proposed signage with the elevation front view as required on the application is not included, so the application is incomplete. According to supplemental photo montage, the existing awning measures 169 inches wide and extends out 52 inches from the building facade. The front flap measures 10 inches tall, while the overall awning height was not indicated. The proposed awning bed includes a series, that's the slanted part, includes a series of alternating green and bright white stripes, while the front flap is only bright white in color. The front flap includes a text line measuring 5 inches tall by 90 inches wide that reads
Okay.
La Kang Chicken and Rice in all uppercase serif lettering, followed by a subsequent text line measuring 2.5 inches tall by 27.5 inches wide that reads Thai Restaurant in smaller serif lettering. All letters are green in color to match the green of the awning stripe. The relevant design guidelines note that an appropriate awning within the historic district is made of canvas. The description says acrylic, so we're going to need clarification from the applicant about that. Again, according to the guidelines, acrylic would be not appropriate, so maybe it's just a statement. The applicant should also confirm that the replacement cover is open on both ends. So the existing awning followed the guidelines. It's a cover on the bed and down the front and has nothing on the sides. And it was hard to tell from your application, but we want to make sure it's open on the sides. Okay. The applicant should also confirm that the replacement cover, HCT traditionally encourages a warm white or ivory rather than a bright white. We just heard that in the previous one. So discussion for that point is warranted. Otherwise, the remaining details of the proposed awning cover are appropriate. According to the supplemental photo montage, the existing shop window measures 70 inches tall by 63.5 inches wide, while the proposed signage measures 48 inches tall by 24 inches wide. The signage is to be centered vertically and horizontally within the existing window so it would fit. The sign includes a text line near the top that reads La Kang in large, bold, all uppercase serif lettering in a bright white color. Near the bottom of the sign is a text line that reads chicken, followed by a subsequent text line that reads rice. I didn't see an ampersand here, so just chicken, rice.
Yeah, chicken rice.
Centered between the upper and lower text lines is a depiction of a rooster in shades of red, brown, and blue colors. All four corners of the proposed design include a filigree detail and a warm white or ivory that serves as an implied frame around the sign. So they don't have a literal box around it, but the four corners are defined, and so that, in my opinion, would be sufficient for the recommendation for a frame. The applicant should confirm that the sign is fabricated from vinyl. I didn't see that anywhere in the description. Or if it's not from vinyl, whatever it is fabricated from. And also to confirm it's installed on the inside glass surface. Otherwise, the proposed details of the window signage are appropriate. So like the previous one, we have two things. We have an awning, a few details about the awning to discuss, and then we have window signage, also a few details to discuss.
Very good. Well, again, thanks for joining us, Anthony. tell us about the awning first. This was it intended to be canvas?
No, we can make it any which way we want. We try to keep it exactly the way it was. We're not gonna replace the hardware. We just want to rewrap it. So we wanted the impression that the previous owner said it was an acrylic wrap. So we assumed that we put an acrylic one on it. But if you say it's canvas, that's easily changeable. We can make it canvas.
Okay,
We just try to keep it as close to what the previous owners had, because they said that, we're gonna have to have a board meeting, we have to, so pretty much everything he pretty much said to do, we kind of kept within that realm. But, so that can be easily changed from acrylic to canvas.
The one that we typically have approved most readily is called umbrella or sunbrella.
This is a sunbrella. This is definitely a sunbrella.
Which is,
It's within that even, when we went out to,
it
purchase.
probably is closer to canvas than it is acrylic
Okay,
anyway.
no worries.
But that is the one that we would typically recommend.
For the certificate, I'll often say, because we have to be careful with brand names, we can't.
Right.
Or equal,
So I'll put Sunbrella, Canvas, or equivalent,
right.
just in case, okay?
It's like the GAF shingles.
Yes.
or
Yeah.
equivalent.
I think when we pick this particular style, it specifically said sunbrella.
Okay.
But for some reason it says acrylic, but that's,
now you have me wondering if like the fabric is canvas treated with acrylic. I don't know. Now
I
looking
don't know, but we can, before we leave today, we can figure that out.
Okay, very good.
Is there any problem with making the band and the stripes a softer white?
Yeah, so I did write that, and I did take that note when you spoke to this gentleman earlier. We can definitely do warm white or ivory.
Okay,
This is just a nice picture that we saw. We thought it'd be
gotcha.
nice, but if you want ivory, that's not a problem.
Okay.
It's not, we're not,
Found that it looks cleaner longer.
then we're definitely gonna do it.
Yeah, the bright
It
white.
benefits
That's,
everybody.
that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, no
It's
worries.
Not that we're biased against having it white, but it just, they get dirty and
And we can actually choose what colors we want. So this is just an AI kind of
Yeah, right.
generate, put it in there. So, but once we are approved, or once we have to do what we have to do here, we can specify warm white, ivory, light
Yeah.
green. If you say it's a specific green, I don't have a problem with that as well.
we typically don't have a whole lot of say in colors, but we do recommend certain things for reasons that we found over the last 2 decades. Hold
Yeah.
up.
The whole word. But to speak back on, I think somebody said earlier about the opening of the side. So
Right.
the existing awning that's there is all black, and it has, let's say if this is the awning here, it just covers where the frame is. So basically, this whole thing would be covered. So you guys are suggesting for this side not to be covered? so
Well,
open?
that's our standard. So we always ask for people to
Just have to open
open out the
sides.
sides.
Yeah, that's not a problem. I can put that in here too. Probably be cheaper too, less
Yeah,
material.
You-
I'm with whatever.
You'd think so, right?
You're right. It might be more expensive.
And there's already a frame there, so you're just
Yes.
installing over the
So-
existing frame, so you're not gonna add any holes or anything?
No, we priced it out to try to do a brand new one. We want almost
Okay.
4,500, and just to rewrap it, it's about 1,100. So
Yeah.
I'd rather rewrap it, keep the, and it benefits now because we don't have to take it out at
Yeah.
opposed to.
All right, I'm pretty comfortable with that. Now to the sticker, so that's a vinyl sticker, I'm assuming that goes in the window, right?
I'm assuming, I don't know much about the stickers, but it can be fine.
Okay, so I'm assuming it's a vinyl sticker, and with that being said, we prefer it's applied on the inside. And I'm assuming, as far as the sticker, same thing goes with the white, we want an ivory or an off-white, or warm white, I should say, for the lettering, but I'm assuming that, and correct me if I'm wrong, so wherever it's black, that's clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's
Okay,
a see-through.
all right, okay.
So the only thing you actually, so it makes it seem like it's floating, right?
Yeah,
So it's just the sign, the logo, the chain.
okay,
Everything else is just see-through.
Okay.
Clear.
all right.
And then I also wrote that as well. If you want it to be ivory white, that is not a problem.
Yeah, I guess to match the.
Yep.
are you putting store hours or anything on the doors?
I don't think so. Because we're into the social media and the website, and it's gonna get too clunky.
Okay.
We want to try to keep it as clean as possible.
Mhm.
And then with the off-white or the ivory white, it's gonna actually make it look nicer than the bright white. So
Yeah, and you said that application's going center in the window.
yes.
Okay.
Is there any issues with the fonts as well? Because we really didn't specify a font.
Serif, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what we use for this, but if something else needs to be,
There was a little something that seemed small, but I couldn't read it, and I didn't think it was necessary for
You're
my.
on the balance.
I was
Are you
wondering
thinking
what's
about this one right
underneath the
here, this
chicken.
bottom one right here,
Yeah.
that little one, it probably says established. 20.
Oh, established.
Yeah,
Okay, what about under the chicken's feet? Is there any?
that's Thai writing for chicken and rice.
Okay,
And I think somebody mentioned there is this chicken rice, not
Yep.
chicken and rice, but the top. My partner's a Thai.
Yeah.
They wanted to keep it as traditional. They say chicken rice. We say chicken and.
Mhm.
So that's why that sign is chicken rice as opposed to
This is,
everybody else says chicken and rice. Yeah.
yeah, this is just a question about the drop on the front of the line, the balance. Has the lettering on it that says, the name and is that gonna have chicken and rice there, or is it gonna be chicken?
Yes. So this one for the public will say that so they can read it legible of and chicken and rice, but this actual sign is just.
Okay, and then what's below that it says Thai restaurant, is that correct?
Yes, it says Thai restaurant.
Is that gonna get crowded on that drop?
From what the, who's this guy that's doing the sign, Reinhardt, they was telling everything should fit perfectly. So this is our actual rendition that they send us of what it would look like. We really do not need it.
I am not telling you to take it off, or
No, but yeah,
I'm suggesting that you at least think about it as to whether or not it's too crowded.
that is a good point.
I'm sorry, Greg, what are you referring to on this?
On the balance,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
Thai restaurant.
where it says Thai restaurant under, it just, the spacing on that looks a little
They're
bit,
crowded.
It does look a little bit crowded,
to
it's
me.
true. Yeah.
and, you know, I don't want you to spend a lot of money on something that people can't read.
Are you suggesting maybe they omit Thai restaurant?
Possibly.
Or
Or maybe incorporate it into,
Or maybe the La Kang chicken and rice is just a
Just
whisker smaller
I see.
to allow for, you know, for that to show up.
the balance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that doesn't matter to us.
Well, that wasn't something we considered, so thank you for offering that. And as you can see, I'm gonna write notes down. And then I can talk to my partners about it. Small, because you're right. Why pay for something that's
Yeah.
legible?
You have to remember that your walking traffic basically is across the street as far as people being able to read it. If it's, you're not gonna, if people walking right in front of you are only gonna see the sign on the window. For the most part. And the people driving by are not gonna have time to read a lot of,
And that's small lettering too,
Right.
right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's just- it's only like 2.5 inches, so that's not very big.
Yeah, that is pretty
Yeah.
small, and for how high it is as
Mhm.
well.
Mhm.
So that's a good
so,
point there
you
too.
know,
So what are you recommending, Craig?
I'm recommending we think about it, and it's an option that, as far as our motion is concerned, it's an option to alter the lettering on the balance.
Okay.
Question now, if we were to maybe omit here and put maybe,
Mhm.
and this is just a question, would that affect the signage anywhere?
No,
No, it's still
As
part
long
of
as
it.
within,
Yeah,
okay,
as long as it's within that like
So there-
footprint of the sign.
Mhm.
maybe that's an option too. Or maybe we can omit it.
You could
Again,
even
it's-
probably, I mean, you could even add Thai restaurant and established in whatever, if you're gonna put 2025 or whatever on there. I mean, that's smaller type lettering. That's not really going to make a huge difference.
Mhm.
That's where people are gonna have the time to read it.
Right.
Mhm.
Across the street, they're worrying about where they're walking, whether they're crossing the street or whatever. And in the car,
Right. It's so
Well,
fast.
they're not gonna have time
Look,
to get a whole lot.
let me throw one more at you because I love Thai food. So,
Thank you.
one
We got 4 other restaurants if you want to try them out.
So here's what I was going to tell you. What you have now is redundant. And since you have the name of the restaurant and the kind of food on the glass, maybe all you want to see on the balance on the awning is Thai restaurant.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because, you have two different pieces of information, and I don't know if the Thai restaurant might be more of a,
Significant
yeah.
identity of who we are. So
Yeah,
even if they don't know what, they know it's Thai.
I mean, my first thought was to just tell you to use the entire balance, Lakang chicken and rice hyphen Thai restaurant. But, it's true. It's, it doesn't look as nice when you crowd a lot of lettering onto one thing. So, just because you have since you have Lakang on the glass, it's going to be very clear to read. Maybe all you want to say on the balance is Thai restaurant.
Now, is that the full name of the restaurant? La Kang Chicken and Rice?
Yeah, because
Okay.
we have, like I expressed earlier, we have 4 other restaurants and a food truck. And every restaurant is Lakang. Lakang Thai French, Lakang Thai noodle, Lakang.
Oh, okay.
Lakang Thai cup, Lakang chicken and rice. That's why we want to make sure we really drill down Lakang.
Gotcha.
So everybody, the name recognition we're trying to create. But
Or you could say on the
Yeah.
balance, Lakang Thai restaurant, since you got the chicken and rice in the window. So I mean, somehow we got to just form a motion, and Jeff needs to know what it is, needs to record this.
Yeah, we're not trying to make life difficult for you.
no, listen, I'm just trying to be in compliance and trying to hear as much outside. We've been doing it for so long that, we're already thinking one thing. So, right. So hearing other opinions, it's not negative at all. It's just something now we can reevaluate and maybe might be beneficial.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So any more comments or questions on this? If not, can someone make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to approve the awning located at 15 East 4th Street as a sombrella or equivalent material with open sides, a warm white and green striped top, and a warm white or ivory valance with lettering on the valance to be determined by the applicant and to be submitted at a later date, just for confirmation. That'll take care of the balance and the thing, and then vinyl application to the window, in the center of the window, La Kang chicken rice with a rooster. And Jeff, what did you say those corners were?
I called it a filigree that's
Filigree corners to
Yeah.
to substitute out as
as a
the pinstripe.
yeah.
I'll second that.
Oh, just a second. I'm still writing.
He's fast. He's not that fast.
Thank you for your patience. All right, I'm good.
Okay, let's put it to a vote. Craig,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
aye, Desiree.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. And Anthony, thank you for bringing this to us, and can't wait to eat at your restaurant.
Thank you.
So
Go ahead.
what you have to do then is, so we're gonna take this to council, they'll vote on it, and if it passes, then you can go ahead and, change it out. You're not gonna
We're
need,
still gonna stay within the
Yeah, you're-
white ivory. Yeah, no.
you're not gonna need any permits from the code office because you're only resurfacing, you're not adding like they were adding a sign. But in addition, you do have to submit what you're going to put in that balance. So just let me, whatever you decide on your final, whatever it is, La Kang, chicken and rice, whatever, Thai restaurant, just let us know ahead of time.
Thank you
So
for clarifying.
so that's different from the previous applicant. I needed specific dimensions. He's gonna get to you in the morning.
Yep.
I don't need that from you by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
The way they formulated the motion, you have flexibility.
Oh, okay.
Just don't install it
Without,
until Mr.
Yeah.
Clemenson said we still need it for our record. You'll submit it to his office. Then it always says the chair.
Yep.
The code officer and the historic officer review that and you'll hear back from us. But the way they formulate it, you have a lot of flexibility.
all right, thank you.
Yeah, whether you want to go.
And I
Thai.
submit it to your office?
Yep, I'm right across the code office, right across. the
Oh, right here.
Yeah, right
Okay,
across,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yep,
That's what we had to get up.
yep.
Thank you. I was a little bit nervous, but you guys made it seem easy. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
You signed in?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Well, thank you for your time. All right. And I hope everybody have a great night.
And,
Thank you.
do we,
And hope to see you guys soon.
Look forward to it.
can we have a motion to?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Second on that? Second on approving the minutes?
Did you need a second?
Yes.
Oh, second.
I think you have what you need here, right?
Thank you.
Okay, any old business? The only new business I could think of is, I guess maybe next meeting we'll be seeing the hotel again.
I have to check. Jeff and I spoke about that in the beginning of the meeting and we do have 2 cases on the agenda yet. I have to check with, I apologize. I didn't check before I left today to see if they had
Well,
submitted.
today was the deadline, so it's possible up until 4:30.
Yeah,
Man, we don't
Okay.
know.
All right,
so I'll have an answer for that
Okay.
and next one. But I would anticipate it most likely is going to be on the next agenda.
anything else anybody would like to report on?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody.